Welcome to Mondays with Mitch. This week's question was, how do you think your music classes here are preparing you for your career, your future? Do you think you're going to use them? Are they useful, etc.? I think that's a good question to consider. So I'll kind of go through some of the core classes from what I think is least useful to most useful. Least useful, music theory. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy music theory. I like it. I think it's interesting to analyze our music and see what the composers are doing. But as a performer slash educator, it's essentially useless beyond, obviously we need to know like scales, arpeggios, chords, that kind of stuff makes our jobs as musicians easier, but we don't really need to know all this structural, we don't need to know that stuff, the functions of everything. It's interesting, but like I'm probably not going to use it very much. Even if I teach high school theory, we're not going to get past like chords. So yeah, after that, I'd probably say aural skills. Aural skills in piano, they're getting more useful. I think aural skills as a band director, I'm probably not going to have to sing very much or anything, but getting the concept of pitch in our head is a good idea. And just aural skills, the general concept of making us listen more, opening up our ears is the good part of aural skills. So it's not horribly useless. It's actually pretty useful. Piano also has some actual applications. I can see myself accompanying students or just having a general knowledge of piano to demonstrate for my students is a good thing. Show up to jazz band. I could just do stuff on the piano. I think that could come in handy as a musician. Maybe not so much as a band director, as like a choral teacher, but it's still an important skill to have. So now we're getting into the classes that are actually pretty important. One of those would be ensembles, whether it's chamber or band. These are actually teaching us direct, super applicable skills to being performers and conductors, and especially as a future band director, going to rehearsal and working with good conductors like Dr. Morehouse, seeing how she rehearses, what her expectations are, that's good. It gets me ideas thinking about how I can work my own band program. And at the same time, it improves myself as a musician being under those standards, as a musician being under those standards. So, there's also methods classes. Methods classes, everybody complains about them. They're early in the morning, and you're like, why do we have to learn these instruments? But I think they're actually, as a future teacher, they're actually probably the most useful, important classes we've taken so far. And that's because they actually get me thinking about how I teach. We have to do multiple teaching tapes, presentations, projects, and presenting in front of other students, teaching people, like it's hands-on actual experience, and it gets us thinking in a way that a lot of us haven't done before. So, in general, except for theory, most of our classes actually are preparing us to be good musicians, educators. I think they're doing a good job here. See you next week.